The night was cold, silent, and unforgiving. Neon lights flickered across the narrow street like dying fireflies. On the 5th floor of an old metal building in Nova District 7, Arlen Voss, a war veteran, sat beside a crib, trying not to let fear break him. His baby daughter, Mira, cried softly, weak, hungry. Arlen checked the empty milk bottle again even though he already knew it was dry. No credits left. No ration tokens. Nothing. For 3 days, he had been trying to get infant milk, but the city was under strict supply lockdown. Anyone without money was simply ignored. Outside the cracked window, thunder rolled, but it wasn't from clouds, it was from patrol drones flying low, scanning for trouble. Nova District 7 was always full of trouble. Arlen held Mira close. "Please, little one, hold on," he whispered. He didn't fear war. He didn't fear death. But he feared losing his daughter. Something inside him twisted: pain, guilt, helplessness. And then there was a knock on the door. A slow, heavy knock that echoed across the room like a warning, or maybe a promise. Arlen froze. Very few people visited him. Most avoided him. The neighbors said he was broken, a veteran who brought bad luck. But he still walked to the door. When it slid open, warm orange light spilled in, and with it, the tall shape of his mysterious neighbor. Kalen Drake. The dragon-blooded. His eyes glowed gold like burning metal, and faint red scales shimmered along his jaw. His people were part human, part dragon, strong, magical, feared. And Kalen never visited anyone. Yet here he was. He looked down at Arlen calmly. "You need help," he said simply. Arlen tried to speak, but his throat tightened. "It's nothing, just hard days." Kalen lifted a brow, his nostrils flaring as if smelling emotions. "Your child is hungry," he said. Arlen swallowed. How much had this man sensed? Dragon-blooded were said to detect heat, heartbeat, even stress. "It's fine," Arlen lied. "I'll manage." Kalen leaned forward. "No. You won't." His voice was not unkind, but firm. Final. The kind of voice that came from someone who had seen too much death. "Let me inside," Kalen said quietly. The neighbor with fire in his blood. Arlen hesitated. He didn't want pity. He didn't want debt. But Mira whimpered again, a tiny broken sound that shattered him. He stepped aside. Kalen entered. His heat filled the room like gentle fire. Mira seemed to sense it and stopped crying for a moment. Kalen looked at the crib. "She is weak." Arlen nodded helplessly. "There's no milk left. Store is empty. My token account is frozen." Kalen's golden eyes narrowed. "That is not acceptable." Before Arlen could reply, Kalen's scales brightened faintly. "I will return," he said. And he walked out. Just like that. Arlen blinked. What was that supposed to mean? Where was he going? He paced the room for 10 long minutes. His mind raced with possibilities. Dragon-blooded had power, real power. But they were also watched by the government. They were not allowed to interfere with human systems. If Kalen tried something illegal. Arlen shook his head. Why would a dragon man risk anything for him? Before he could think further, the door opened again. Kalen walked in with a heavy ration container under one arm and a warm metallic case in the other. Arlen stared. That is infant formula." "How?" Kalen shrugged, almost bored. "I asked." Arlen blinked again. "You asked the supply officers? They listened to you?" "They didn't," Kalen replied calmly. Arlen's heart skipped. Kalen smiled faintly. "So, I convinced them." Arlen didn't know what convinced meant, but judging by the slight scorch marks on Kalen's sleeve, he had a guess. Kalen placed the supplies on the table. "Feed her." For a moment, Arlen couldn't move. His hands trembled. He had fought alien ships, he had survived battlefield firestorms, yet opening a milk container made his eyes sting with emotion. Soon Mira drank peacefully, her tiny fingers curling around Arlen's thumb. Arlen's voice cracked. "Thank you. Truly." Kalen watched quietly. "She has your eyes." Arlen chuckled weakly. "Poor kid then." Kalen shook his head. "Strong eyes." He stood there like a silent guardian. Arlen wondered again why. Why would a powerful dragon-blooded help a forgotten veteran? As if sensing the question, Kalen spoke. "You saved my brother once." Arlen blinked. "Your brother? I never met." Kalen nodded. "You didn't know. But he knew you." He looked out the window. "My brother fought in the Red War. Wounded. Trapped. Many ran away. You didn't." Arlen remembered the battlefield suddenly, the smoke, the scream, the dragon soldier bleeding fire. He had dragged him out under plasma fire. "I didn't know he survived," Arlen whispered. "He survived because of you." Kalen touched his chest lightly. "And blood remembers." A dangerous offer. Kalen turned to leave, but paused at the door. "Arlen, you need work." Arlen looked down. "I know." Kalen leaned closer. "I can offer you something. But it is dangerous." Arlen almost laughed. "Everything is dangerous nowadays." Kalen's eyes glowed. "This is more dangerous." Arlen set Mira back in the crib, then faced him. "What do you need?" Kalen folded his arms. "You have soldier training. You know tactics, discipline. I need someone like that." Arlen tried to understand. "You need me?" "Yes," Kalen said simply. "I protect this district. But something is coming. Something ancient." Arlen frowned. "What is coming?" Kalen looked toward the dark sky. "A hunter. From my world." Arlen felt a shiver crawl down his spine. "A hunter? For what?" Kalen met his eyes. "For me." The air grew heavy. "Why?" Arlen asked. Kalen smiled sadly. "Because I refused to follow their path. Because I chose peace." "And they don't like deserters," Arlen guessed. "Exactly." Arlen rubbed his face. "So what do you want from me?" Kalen stepped forward. "When he arrives, I need someone I can trust to protect the innocent. He will burn the district just to find me." Arlen's blood chilled. He imagined the narrow streets burning, families running, Mira crying. "I want you to help me stop him," Kalen finished. Arlen looked at his sleeping daughter. "If I help you, will she be safe?" Kalen placed his scaled hand over Arlen's shoulder, gentle, warm, almost brotherly. "She will be. I swear it on dragon blood." Arlen inhaled slowly. Every instinct inside him screamed that danger was coming. But he also knew one thing. He owed Kalen now. And he wanted Mira to grow up in a world where monsters, human or dragon, didn't win. He nodded. "I'm in." Kalen smiled, a fire-bright smile. "Good. Then tomorrow we train." Training with a dragon. The next morning, the rooftop was filled with golden light. Kalen stood barefoot, scales shining as he breathed slow, controlled fire. Arlen stood across from him, holding a training spear Kai had given him. "You humans rely too much on machines," Kalen said. "Learn to rely on yourself." Arlen charged. Kalen dodged, his movements fluid like flame. Arlen struck again, faster, sharper. Kalen blocked with ease. "Good," Kalen said. Again. For hours they trained, strike, block, dodge. Kalen taught him how to read heat signatures, how to hear danger, how to move with silent precision. By noon, Arlen collapsed on the floor, sweating. Kalen sat beside him. "You learn faster than most." Arlen laughed breathlessly. Maybe I'm part dragon. Kalen smirked. Your temper, maybe. They trained every day. And slowly, Arlen felt something he hadn't felt in years: strength. Purpose. Hope. The sky burns. One night, the sky erupted with red fire. Kalen stood on the rooftop, eyes glowing. He has arrived, he whispered. A giant shadow flew across the moon, wings like molten metal, claws like spears. Arlen joined Kalen. That's him? Kalen nodded. My brother. Now a hunter. Arlen held his weapon tightly. Then we do this. Kalen placed his hand on Arlen's shoulder. No matter what happens, protect the people. Arlen nodded. Let's end this. And as the dragon hunter descended with a roar that shook the district, the forgotten veteran and the dragon-blooded rebel stood together. Fire and steel, side by side. Ready to fight for a world worth saving.